relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to S4, where we talk about the serious issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from the S4 headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains of Washington State, in our studio here in Cape Horn, Concrete, Washington. We are in show number 3, if you couldn't tell already, of our 24-hour marathon. So, we are going to be talking about UFO cults and religions for the next 3 hours.
Well, before we start that, ladies and gentlemen, please remember that we have our Paranormal Radio Art Contest still going on here at S4. We here at S4 know that sometimes when dealing with the paranormal, what we experience cannot properly be put into words. So we are asking you, the public, to share with us your best paranormal artwork between August 1st and September 30th. We will be accepting your 2D artwork, which we will then be featuring on Facebook, Twitter, and our webpage during the month of October. The hosts of S4 will then pick one to win an S4 swag bag valued at $75. All 2D mediums accepted must be 18 to enter. All artwork must be PG. No nudity, please. Entries should be submitted to S4radiowinner@gmail.com.
Look at you with your second win.
Another monster.
He just rambles on and on, doesn't he? Alright, so this is going to be fun.
What cult are we joining first?
Well, honestly, you know, cults have always intrigued me. Just the whole thought process behind them and why people would be suckered into a cult.
I think you got to start with your first story, though.
What's that?
When you were asked, when you were in the Army, if you had any feelings.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Of
if you like
suicide.
Kool-Aid?
If you were going to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
When I joined the Army?
No, when you were in the Army and...
Oh, God. Talking about the psychologist?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, so yeah, for listeners that might be new to the show, so yeah, I've been in this field for 30 years. So in 1997, and we'll be talking about Heaven's Gate a little bit later in the show. There are so many cults that we'll be talking about tonight in the next 3 hours. And we will be hitting Heaven's Gate. But it is so... Oh my God. So we actually did UFO cults on S4 back in 2016. But the focus... Well, one, it was a 2-hour show. And the focus was a lot more on Venus and a lot of those... Space Brothers from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. What we're hitting tonight is some of those, but a lot more modern and a lot more recent. So Heaven's Gate is what was run by George Applewhite, and again, like I said, we will hit that cult later on in the show, but. I'm in Germany, and I gets into a... No, I'm not going to start with the Seekers, Michael. No. They're on the list, but we'll get to them later. So I went to an alcohol rehab facility for 3 months in Landstuhl Army Hospital in Germany. Never even heard of Heaven's Gate. Had no clue. I just studied UFOs. I have my own experiences. I studied alien abduction and UFOs. And I wake up any other day, in this facility anyway, and one of the NCOs comes and says, "Hey, Specialist Cooper, you need to go see Miss," I can't remember her name now. She was a civilian. You need to go see Doc. She's waiting for you in her office. Huh. That's weird. Okay, whatever. I go in there and she says, "Specialist Cooper, how you feeling today?" Like, I'm fine. Is something wrong? She goes, you're not feeling suicidal, are you? I'm like, no. Why would I feel suicidal? She goes, well, I know you're a ufologist and you study UFOs. And have you ever heard of Heaven's Gate? I'm like, no. Tell me about them. And she says, well, that's a UFO cult that they all committed suicide this morning. I'm like, seriously? That's stupid now, ain't it? And, you know, I don't get it. One, so I understand suicide. You know, some people, they lose hope, they get suicidal. Me, I take it the other direction. Why am I going to hurt myself? If something's wrong, I'm going to hurt whatever I'm feeling bad about. I'm not going to kill myself. But again, we'll get to Heaven's Gate. I don't. It baffles me. That's why cults baffle me. Are you still with us, Barry?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
You're falling asleep over there. But what's your thoughts of UFO cults?
They're crazy.
You know, I agree, but you know, I mean, I've been studying UFO cults for this show for the last week and a half, and the more I look at some of them, I can see where they're coming from. Being in this field, and the races we talk about, and we talk about consciousness and stuff on the show sometimes, I can kind of understand where they can get the concept. Not all of them are that. So when I say they're not that bad, I'm talking the bad ones to me are the ones that are scamming money, causing people to kill themselves, killing other people, things of that nature. Some of these cults, they do have peace, love, harmony, you know, that kind of thing. There's not much of a motive per se. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you know, but you've got so many of them, like the Raelian movement back a long time, the French group, you know.
Oh no, the Raelians are still around.
And they all have, you know, leaders that are, all these things have, just like a normal cult. I mean, either they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Characters that are just
charismatic,
can be, and just can manipulate people's minds to whatever they're wanting to go to, and whether it be a Christian doctrine, a New Age, a UFO doctrine, you know, it's all different, you know. And there are several of them out there, but they're all run by a person that is so charismatic. Well, I can't even think that
charismatic
to the point where
you know, most cult leaders have charisma. They make people. They're just their personality alone attracts followers.
They're lovable people.
No, not even that. Mm-hmm. They're magnetic.
Mm-hmm. They're like those self-help dudes that can get like a crowd of 9 million to go, oh, what's he going to say next?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like E.F. Hutton speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Francie wrote me up some notes on what actually attracts people to cult leaders. I wanted her on the show for this show too, but she's got to work tomorrow, and yeah, she'll be on Roundtable tomorrow. Well, tonight, I guess. It is 4 o'clock in the morning. So, what makes people susceptible to cults? Approval junkies. People with low self-esteem. People that are so, you know, and Izzy and I were talking about this earlier. a lot of your cult followers were abused as children. They already have low self-esteem. Mm-hmm. They already have, some cases, mental health issues, that kind of nature. They're identity seekers. They're followers, not leaders. They're truth seekers. You've got schizotypal personalities, loose associations, tendency to make order by seeking synchronicities, delusions, people who are gullible or suggestible, blamers, people with vendettas seeking retribution. And what they get out of cults is hope, fear, some sort of emotional payoff, belonging, ready-made culture, commitment, and relationships.
Right. All the in every cult and everything about this, it's all the same thing, And when you tie in the UFO order, and like you say, you probably know more of them than I do, but there are several different ones that are out there. What was the one? Order of the Solar Temple. All different kinds of.
That's the first one we're talking about. The Order of the Solar Temple. It's the first one on my list. I'm just going in order. So the Order of the Solar Temple isn't just a cult, but it's also a secret society that is supposed to have stemmed from the Masonic Temple, Knights Templar. It was started by Joseph DeMambro and Luke Yori. So you can jump in anytime if you got more to fill in. Because I just wrote the basic notes. I'm not going deep into... There's too many of them. I'm not going deep into their philosophy and whatnot. I'll hit the basics. Because we got 21 different... And folks, if you want to get shocked, just Google UFO cults or UFO religions. And there's a lot more than 21. There's a lot more There's a whole lot more I could have pulled into this list. But we only have 3 hours to talk about them.
Yeah. Well, they all believe that they, that they're going to have alleged contact. They're all going to, the aliens are going to impart wisdom to them, in some kind of special wisdom. And
but not just wisdom. When you're talking about the doomsday cults, they actually think the aliens are going to come down and take them away.
Right. But they also have channeling, and this is where you get the channelers and more advanced aliens where they can even take you off land. And then they started talking about, and I know you guys know what a shade is, but they impart wisdom shades. So they're actually bringing something from death forward to speak to everybody, like a past aliens from the great beyond, if you will, So pretty strange stuff.
Right on, Joe. Joe says I'd never join a group that would actually accept me as a member.
Welcome back, Joe.
I think you would probably scare the living hell out of him because standing about 8 foot tall, and you would take over the cult. I could see that one.
Yeah.
All right. So
the Order of the Solar Temple and Heaven's Gate, didn't they both believe that they were going to make them immortal also?
Well, when you're talking about, so I'd say the worst to the best, and I say best loosely. When I say best, it's a cult that hasn't killed anybody, hasn't committed suicide, and hasn't taken money from anybody. They just got their little followers, and they're just living their life and waiting for aliens.
Wouldn't that be more of a colony than a cult then?
Well, so let's talk about what is a cult. A cult is one leader, generally speaking, maybe two. You got Bo and Peep that were with Heaven's Gate.
Or you get 3 that are like the trifecta.
Right. So they have one belief system. You don't deviate from that belief system, or you're going to get put in prison like Scientology. Yeah, we'll get to them. We will definitely be getting to Scientology.
Oh, God.
So, bear in mind, when I'm doing research, I'm looking at about 10 different websites. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at 10 different YouTube videos and collaborating all of it. That's the only way to get viable data, is to look at multiple sources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, at the end of the 3 hours, are we going to have an S4 cult, UFO cult?
Well, we already have one.
We're all going to drink some Kool-Aid together.
Just don't drink the Kool-Aid, drink the coffee. Oh, God.
Don't worry, I'm putting the Kool-Aid in the coffee.
Okay, that's fine. So, Order of the Solar Temple wasn't just a cult, like I said. The thing with Order of the Solar Temple, they sacrificed a baby.
Oh.
Because they said the baby was the reincarnation of the Antichrist. And then, let's see. So, actually, Order of the Solar Temple was founded in Geneva, 1984. Mm-hmm. 84. Yes, we were all alive back then.
1984, and they really believed that they were part of the Templar.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm looking at my notes here. Oh God, what was his name? Tony Dutont allowed his baby to be murdered, claiming the baby was the Antichrist. So Joseph DeMambro, the founder, his daughter was going to take the group to a planet near Sirius when the world ended in the 1990s. So in 1994, obviously the world didn't end, 53 members committed suicide or were murdered. They really haven't decided which yet. More murders were followed. Like I said, they sacrificed a baby because they thought it was the Antichrist. And their core belief system is also they're going to travel to other planets when we die. So I think that's what you're talking about, right, Barry?
Yes, exactly.
So the goals. Their goals were establishing correct, quote-unquote now, correct notions of authority and power in the world, unquote. Affirmation of the primacy of the spiritual over the temporal. Assisting humanity through a great transition. Preparing for the second coming of Christ as a solar God King. That ain't too crazy. You're tired. Furthering unification of all Christian churches and Islam.
Huh.
And they drew inspiration from Aleister Crowley.
Of course they did.
So, DeMambro and 12 of his followers performed a ritual Last Supper, followed by mass suicides and murder. 15 Inner Circle members committed suicide by poison. 30 were killed by bullets and smothering. And 8 by other causes. Now, they never specified what other causes means. I don't know, run over by a car, who knows?
Disembowelment.
Burned
Smothering?
in a fire. Huh?
Did you say smothering?
Yep.
That's horrible.
Yeah, they had bags over their heads. We'll get to that, actually. They were found in a secret underground chapel, dressed in ceremonial robes, in a circle. Feet together, heads outward. Most with plastic bags tied over their heads and shot in the head. So the belief was after they died, they moved on to Sirius.
Right.
Where do these people come from? Can you tell me that, Barry?
Yeah, they come from, well, I'll tell you what. Just look at the Bohemian Grove people and everything else, and we're looking at it right now. And it seems like it's the same kind of agenda that you would almost put together into a cult today that we talk about all the time. You know, what are we going to try to do? We're going to try to bring people together underneath this one belief that this is what's going to happen, and they're going to control that situation. So who knows? It's the same thing in every society, I think, except for the thing at the end of how they do themselves. And it's very interesting that they make the wheel. You know, the wheel is a very important part,
the wheel,
you know?
Right, because they were feet together, heads outward, like a solar wheel. When you think about it, it's like a solar wheel. And that is very much that is a Masonic. If I remember right, that is a Masonic emblem.
Right, but it's also native. I mean, the wheel and all of that is so sacred from the center part of it all the way out. It's been that way for eons. You know,
right.
What is the most important thing? That it is the wheel, and it's the same thing as they lay them out like the sun. You know, raising the sun.
Okay, hey, I got a question here though. Okay, so you said that they sacrificed a baby because they thought it was the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Did they do that on the same night that they committed mass genocide and suicide?
Looking at the date, no, because so the sacrifice was conducted in. Oh, let me look here. Okay, I've just got the 1990s for the sacrifice, but no.
Okay, so they killed the baby before.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, a year or two or three or whatever later, they all committed mass suicide and genocide.
I believe so.
Okay, then why were they not all in prison for killing a baby?
Because they're in a cult.
They're in a cult. And cults are very secretive. Why does Scientology have a secure prison where they put their members?
That kind of information doesn't come out until afterwards.
Okay, so nobody knew they killed the baby until after they all killed themselves.
This all came out afterwards. There's
all right, that's what I was like, dude. This is like 4 years ahead of time. Why wouldn't
we'll
you
get to that? There was a guy arrested. There was a guy arrested in the end. Unfortunately for him, he was the only one alive when it was all said and done. You know, he took the fall for all of them. So there was evidence that many of them were actually drugged before they were shot. So it wasn't like they were shot, no, they were shot so they could die with the rest of the group. So they were drugged beforehand, so they didn't feel the bullet. Now, is the actual shooting in the head symbolic? I would think so. I would think so too. So they left letters for their loved ones, and they felt they were leaving the oppression of the world. Other victims were found in 3 chalets, several dead children found lying together. Another mass death incident happened between 15 and 16 December of 1995, also associated with the same cult. So, 23 March 1997, 5 other members took their lives. So this is, happening over a few years.
Okay.
They just didn't find all these cult members.
Okay.
So Michael Tabachnik, a Swiss musician and conductor, was arrested as the leader of the Solar Temple for criminal activity and murder, but was acquitted twice. Tell me he wasn't embedded. Tell me he wasn't protected. So they actually, he was taken to court, he was arrested, went to court, and they acquitted him. It was appealed by the French court, and he was acquitted again. He got off twice. So when you're talking about a cult that is this embedded, no, ain't nothing going to happen to them. We'll get to the Scientologists, and then you'll see. All right, next up. You got a thing to add, Barry?
No. I'm just, I'm going, this is going to be, there's so many things. I mean, even when you get to some of these societies of other people that the normal people actually believe today. As we look at some of these cults that came in from the 1950s and after the Roswell incident from 47 and came in like Heaven's Gate, 1950. Scientology came in 1950. You could even look at the Mormons. They believe in a UFO thing and everything else. So there's a totally different things. But as we go into it and you start taking it apart, you're going to see that, we talk about higher frequencies and planes and everything else. And those are the things that they were talking about back there. Ancient interplanetary civilizations that came here to this world. So it wraps into a lot of other people's feelings, but it's not a cult. We're all trying to answer questions. And back then, they took it to the 10th degree, though.
Well, and even today, you've still got cults. So we sit and talk about it on the show. We talk about frequency, and we talk about vibration, and we talk about a lot of the same stuff. These cults take it to the next level. These cults, you got one leader that's, you better not deviate from this. Nope, we're going to kill ourselves now. But a lot of them don't. There's a lot of cults that don't believe in the suicide aspect. And we'll get to that. Let's talk about Heaven's Gate. So, Heaven's Gate was founded in 1974 in San Diego, California. So, in the 1970s, Marshall Applewhite, who was the son of a Presbyterian minister and a former soldier, studied biblical prophecy in the 70s. He was fired from the University of St. Thomas in Houston, Texas, for an alleged relationship with one of his male students. In March of 72, he was visiting a friend in the hospital. He met Bonnie Nettles. So Bonnie Nettles was a nurse. And so there's speculation about whether it was a psychiatric hospital or a medical, a medical hospital. I would say it's neither here nor there what kind of hospital it was. But he met Bonnie Nettles. She was a nurse working there. He wasn't a patient or nothing. He was just visiting a friend of his who was sick. They started talking, and she was actually told that she was supposed to meet Marshall, and they were going to be the witnesses mentioned in Revelation. So I look at that and I say, God syndrome. That's what we call that. All of a sudden, you're special. Their belief led to salvation via spaceship from apocalyptic prophecies.
Yeah, well, they were kind of like going for, that's what they believed, Hales Bop comic was their big deal. They were thinking that was a spaceship, was it not? That it was going to, there was supposed to be a...
Haley Bop wasn't the spaceship. There was supposed to be a spaceship following Haley Bop. And they got confirmation accidentally. So Art Bell on Coast to Coast was actually talking about there were pictures of some kind of an object that was behind Haley Bop. That was before any. Behind it. Yeah, there was, and that was before anybody even knew about Heaven's Gate. He had no idea what he was doing. I mean, I'm pretty sure if he knew that there was a cult that was sitting there watching Haley Bop, waiting for it to come, and they were going to kill himself over a spaceship, he probably wouldn't even talked about that. I don't know, maybe he would have, but,
Joe says, just to play devil's advocate, maybe the babies killed was the Antichrist. After all, the world didn't end. but 2020, didn't it?
Right. Right. Yeah, okay, Joe.
It's kind of happening right now.
Okay, so, where am I? There are so many damn notes because this
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, no. I get that. I've got 2 pages of notes just to Heaven's Gate alone. So when they met in the hospital, they felt they had known each other from a former life. Okay, reincarnation. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So Bonnie told them their meeting had been foretold by extraterrestrials.
Oh.
So they studied many different works, and they came upon an outline of their beliefs, and they came upon the belief that they were the 2 witnesses, like I said, in the book of Revelation. Now, they brought this thought to many different churches. They weren't received well.
Really? That's too bad.
So they started looking for people of like mind. All right, so you know what that means. They probably went to UFO conventions.
Yeah.
Or mental institutions.
So they advertised, huh?
Or mental institutions.
No. They'd go to ufologists for that one. Can you imagine going to the UFO symposium? How well they'd be received? They would seriously be received quite well, looking at the kind of people that go to them.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Because they're looking for answers. They're looking for things.
Absolutely.
They're having their experiences and they're looking for answers. So,
Yep. And they're looking for someone to listen.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Exactly.
Here is Marshall Applewhite. Well, wait. We'll call them Bo and Pete. That's what they named themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't received well. They started advertising for UFO-like minds. And later, in 1975, they gathered what they called their quote-unquote crew. They sold all of their worldly possessions, said goodbye to their family, and vanished from the public eye. So you could probably look this up, but Walter Cronkite, back in this would have been 70 something. Hold on, it had to have been the late 70s at this point in time. Walter Cronkite actually did a report on Heaven's Gate, and saying a score of persons have disappeared. It's a mystery whether they were taken on a so-called trip to eternity or simply taken. And those are Walter Cronkite's words. Because they walked into a hotel, they said goodbye, and they disappeared.
Right.
So they traveled across the country. They lived in tents. They begged. They had to make money somehow. So they actually begged on the streets and whatnot. They simply went underground. Applewhite and Nettles were now Doe and T, or Doe and Pete. They had nearly 100 members. Can you imagine that? 100 followers.
Wow.
Many of them left, over the years after they started losing faith in them. So Applewhite, at the time, believed he was directly related to Jesus. So, he was an evolutionary kingdom level above human, quote unquote. They went by many group names before Heaven's Gate came up. Nettles died of liver cancer in 1985. And so, going by their thought process, the human body was nothing but a shell.
Okay.
So it didn't really matter that Nettles died. She was going to go...
She was going to ascend.
Yeah, she was ascending.
Right, she was going
regardless.
to ascend into the spaceship and
That
go.
didn't change their thoughts on whether this was real or not, because okay, she died. Her soul went up for the ascension. So one of their recruits, and this cracks me up, one of their recruits was a Republican in Colorado named John Craig in 1975. That's how influential these people were. when you can get a politician to follow you to aliens, and it's the fact that he's Republican that kind of threw me off because okay, I'm not even going to go there. Yeah, no. So October of '96, they began. They rented a very large house, which they called the monastery. They purchased, and I had laughed at this, but they actually purchased alien abduction insurance.
That was the first one. That was the first case that actually came about that with the abduction insurance.
Yeah.
Can you get that from Allstate?
I think so.
How do you prove that?
State Farm.
So this insurance actually covered 50 members and paid out $1 million to survivors.
Of abduction.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I want some insurance.
Did they ever make a claim?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Because, like, how would you actually make that claim?
You wouldn't. You're gone. You're dead. You're bye. And most of their family members really had no idea. They did leave videos to their families before they committed suicide. So maybe, but I'm not aware of any of them making claims.
But how would State Farm or
anyone,
like any insurance agency, verify that claim?
The news.
Yeah.
Heaven's Gate just committed suicide. They went to aliens.
Yeah.
It's all over the media.
Yeah, but no. But
could you call that an abduction? I don't.
That's the problem.
Well, there was more wording to it than just an abduction. It was alien intervention. There's other. I remember there was other wording to it.
I heard you could save 15%, but I go. Good job.
Oh yeah, well, alien abduction insurance. So March 19th and 20th. Now we're coming up to it. 1997. Applewhite taped Doe's final exit. Speaking of mass suicide, he convinced 38 of his followers to prepare for suicide, which included a message to their families. They took phenobarbital, mixed it with applesauce or pudding, and washed it down with vodka. They had bags over their heads. So they did this in stages. They did this, I believe, over, 3 days, wasn't it, Barry?
I think that it wasn't. I think they had some other really bizarre things because in preparation.
Oh no, we'll get to that point because there was a certain uniform they wore and everything,
shoes and everything. Yeah, it was really weird.
They wore Nikes. Yeah. They were all castrated because they believed having genitals.
I don't know.
Having genitals distracted you from. There was no gender with the aliens, basically. Has to do with ascended masters.
Okay, how do you convince that many guys to cut off their genitals because an alien overlord is... I don't care how much charisma you have. How do you get that many people?
If you don't have genitals, they're not going to probe you. Done.
So,
that's it.
If you are so convinced that your leader is actually Jesus Christ, and he told you, well, I mean, think about it. They started out with 100 people. Mm-hmm. He's only got 39 left.
Yeah, I'm going to hell.
These are the last,
That's the case.
And to me, the weakest-minded of his followers.
Because I'm not a good person for that.
Or the most brainwashed.
My first thing I would say to him is, the last 12 people that followed you got stoned to death. I'm not doing this.
Oh, you killed me. But no, they committed suicide and I don't think I wrote down the numbers. They were like 10 one day, 10 the next day. They did it in stages in a 3-day phase. Because when these people committed suicide, the remaining ones would put them on their bed, put them in a certain robe, and put the bed over their head.
Huh.
Right.
And they are all facing the same direction.
Interesting.
And they knew this only because when they received an anonymous tip that there was a mass suicide. And so when they went in, all of them were the same, but two.
So they were the beggars.
So the last two obviously were the last two to commit suicide. They were the ones that staged everybody else.
Yeah, that's what I meant. They were the ones that put the bags over their
They were
head.
the baggers. Yeah.
Right. So they took phenobarbital, mixed it with applesauce.
I'm just wondering if they got their experience at the Piggly Wiggly.
Oh God. Bags over the heads. They wore identical black shirts and sweatpants.
Yep.
Brand new black and white Nike Decades athletic shoes. Who made a damn killing. Oh, so the video I watched actually had... there was a guy, after all this happened, there was a guy that actually tried to sell his Nike, and he probably got it, his Nike Decades athletic shoes for $600 because Heaven's Gate was wearing them when they died. But yeah. And they all had an armband patches that read Heaven's Gate Away Team. Oh.
The away team?
Yep, they're the away team.
Oh my God.
They each had a $5 bill and 3 quarters to care for vagrancy fines while members were out on jobs. And quarters... Oh, you're killing me here.
Yeah, like these people are horrible. You guys.
And quarters for phone calls.
Yeah. E.T. call home.
Something. Oh, we are off.
Well,
I don't know.
This is the big part. You know, did these people not? They were trying to prepare for their long journey, and did they not live in the dark for so long so they could get used to it? I thought there was something about that.
Oh God, that does really.
Yeah.
Dude, there was 26
on
pages.
their journey,
And there was 26 pages of notes, and I wasn't going to write 26 pages of notes. I wrote down the very basics. But no, I'm trying to think. No.
Hurts, don't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, not that I remember. As far as their training.
One of them, I think, did that. I'm not too sure because they wanted to prepare for their journey, and they were doing some kind of, preparation. So they stayed in the dark for a while. They would only kept everything dark. I think that was the reason for the bags on their head.
I don't think it was them. I know one of their thought processes was humans weren't going to survive climate change.
Right.
Really? Yeah, okay. We're not going to survive climate change, so let's kill ourselves and go to Haley Bop. Yeah.
Well, they're not entirely wrong there. I mean, we probably aren't going to survive climate change.
Haley Bop's not going to come back for another 10,000 years. Yeah, something like that.
You missed it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it's the second round. They got it wrong the first time. Okay.
All right, so we got about 15 minutes. Let's start talking about the Raelians. There's another long one.
Oh, there you go.
Raelians? Are these the Zoltarn people?
Raelians?
Like
No.
Australia?
You know what's interesting? You don't find... So Heaven's Gate, you did find it in the United States. Scientology, you find it in the United States. A lot of these come from Europe.
Huh.
Yeah, but the Raelians were the largest
They were in France.
Group, and they were they not the largest?
You know what's interesting?
UFO religious group in the world at the time?
Yeah, they still are, because Clonade
Yeah.
was a part of the Raelians.
Dennis has a question, but I'm not going to read it.
Oh, what? You have to wait you have to wait for 10,000 years to count your balls. Yep.
But, by that time, you probably won't be using them much.
But you don't gotta worry about it. Yeah.
Joe says it's worth the wait.
Don't sweat it too much. Raelians, 1970s, France. The founder was Claude Varellum, known as Rail. So he wasn't Claude Varellum anymore. His name was Rail because he was a channeler, and he became Rail.
Okay, have you ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy? You know, laser face.
The bubble bug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are some people
That's
that should
another one.
just not be able to pick their own evil names. Rail.
Yeah.
Right.
Rail. That is bad. But
It's terrible.
But it's
and
not.
what they did
It's RAEL.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did they not just combine this with religious?
There's a whole bunch of religions they combined. There is a whole bunch of so they Rael claims to be a messenger from the race known as Elohim. Huh? Have you heard that before? Elohim. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Which
Elohim, which is angels.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, angel God. It's, that's the one of the things we hear about the giants, the Nephilim.
The
Right.
The Nephilim, Elohim, all of that. And, they take it to that thing of being, planned to visit their complete, we're going here because Buddha, Christ, everything else is all involved in this, and it's all we're lumping it all into one. We're lumping it all into one religion, and the angel or God is the one that's telling us to do this.
Oh, they get really interesting. So Elohim created life on earth. Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad were all interconnected and were really aliens. And Elohim are not angels, but aliens. So a temple was attempted. So here's what's interesting. So you have to look at their emblem. Their emblem actually involves a swastika, but it wasn't related to Nazi. It was related to the Elohim. But they tried to establish a temple in Israel. And, well, it didn't go too well because they were denied the land in Israel because, well, it had a swastika on it. Their emblem did. So it wasn't accepted. So they changed it to a swirl. So if humans accept peace, not war, the aliens will return to introduce advanced technology. That's the concept. So since Hiroshima, the bomb of 1945, they saw Hiroshima as the beginning of the apocalypse. Raelians have been trying to build an embassy for the Elohim and landing pads for the Elohim's spaceships. So the Raelians push a liberal ethical system with emphasis on sexual experimentation, engage in daily meditation, and hope for physical immortality through human cloning. So, have you ever heard of Clonade?
Yes.
Yes, that's the Raelians.
Yes.
Wow.
So the Raelians started in France. They moved to Quebec in 1998 and started the Order of the Angels, an all-female group as consorts of the Elohim. What?
Fuck Quebec.
Oh, in 1997, Rail launched Clone Aid organization focused on human cloning, led by Senior Raelian Bridget Boisselier. In 2012, claimed they were successful with a baby named Eve. Attracted further attention through public protests supporting women and gay rights and against nuclear testing. International Raelian movement claims tens of thousands of members globally. I'm trying to kind of rush with the Raelians because we got about 5 minutes and we got our first break. Oh, we got so much more to talk about. Oh my God. Wait till we have the Atheria Society.
Oh.
So the Raelians does not like to be called a UFO cult, even though they have a strong emphasis on UFOs. Most of them don't, though. You find that I find that interesting. So yeah, nobody likes to be called a cult. I get that.
Right.
But if the shoe fits, wear it. So they are materialistic and reject supernatural.
I couldn't do it.
Endorsing. Well, they endorse atheism, rejecting gods.
Yeah, but they're all about
That's so hypocritical.
Make sense. Yeah.
It's hypocritical. Rail considers his religion. Oh, here we go. Rail considers his religion as based in science.
Okay.
Although Rail uses the Bible as one of their sources, they criticize Christianity for perverting the message of the Bible.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think that's the point.
No, it's obviously not.
Well, no, he is Jesus Christ. What are you talking about?
No.
They believed that anything that was fun and happy that they could do. I mean, they were a now type of people. They were like, oh, if it feels good, do it. It's kind of like hippies,
Yeah, Dennis says join the Church of Trek. I'm down. Realism.
May the force be with you, Dennis.
Right.
Yeah.
So realism also presents a form of the ancient astronauts theory.
Oh, God.
The Earth is an outpost of an ancient society. Eric von Daniken presented the same concept in his books in the 60s, but these guys say, oh, who's Eric von Daniken? We've never read his work. Yeah, bullshit. That's where you got the idea. Anyway, the Elohim are smaller than humans. They have pale green skin, almond-shaped eyes. They are seven different races. Their planet is outside our solar system, but within the Milky Way. There are 90,000 members on their planet, and they are quasi-immortal. No clothes, and they don't believe in procreation. That's part of the damn problem.
Okay. No
That's
clothes.
why these things never last anyway. I mean, same thing with the Shakers, I mean, they're all based on the same thing.
Now, didn't you say that this group was all about sexual?
In the beginning, yeah.
Yeah. But now they don't procreate.
Yeah, they all change.
No, changing. Okay.
Yeah.
They have to change to fit their paradigm. So 25,000 years ago, which doesn't even fit with our own science, the Elohim terraformed the Earth. Which I don't get because the Earth is well over 25,000 years.
Years old, yeah.
So that don't even fit. The Rails believe in scientific creationism. They don't believe in Darwinism. And the Great Flood was the attempt of an anti-human alien race trying to wipe us out.
Wow.
And with that, we gotta go to our first break, and then we'll start talking about.
I'm running to get razor blades. It's time for me.
I thought he was going to chop off his balls. Barry, too soon.
Oh my gosh.
So next up, we're talking about the Etheria Society. So
we will be right back.
We'll be right back for another great cult to
Listening
discuss.
to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to... Oh, God.
Guys, welcome back to S4.
Welcome back to S4. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. This is as long as the shirt before. And, I'm baffled. I'm seriously baffled by the cults that we're talking about tonight.
Well, okay. The thing is, I think, when we talk about these cults, yes, now they are completely strange. But cults have been in existence for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. Like, there was cults in the ancient Egyptians. And back then, yes, they were ridiculed by a lot of people. But they were also, how do I put that? Reveled? Like, people thought of them as insane but amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were considered religious entities.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in ancient Egypt. That's the only one I really have to go off, because that's the only one that Kayla watches on Ancient Aliens.
Hey, I watch every documentary ever made.
Right? I just, and again, some of these concepts we do talk about on the show. Consciousness and whatnot, I get.
Yep.
I don't fully agree with all of it, but I do understand it. I understand New Age, and a lot of these follow New Age patterns. But there's so much fringe, and there's so much fraud associated both with consciousness and channeling and with New Age. That is hard. You look at it, and it's hard to take it serious.
Yeah.
So, you have to know the person involved, and you have to do a lot of fact-checking and validation before you just jump into something.
Well, and it's because, our culture has fed us such... We're supposed to ridicule cults. Like, you look at the movie, what was it called? Yeah, but what's the movie called?
Bubble Bunch.
Dude, Where's My Car?
Where's my car?
Yeah, the Bubble Bunch.
Yeah, they're wearing bubble wrap, they're...
Well, tinfoil hats. Think about it.
Yeah.
We laugh and talk about tinfoil hats all the time.
It's aluminum foil.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, aluminum foil doesn't work.
No, it's got to be a tinfoil
That's
hat.
the point.
Ow.
Whoa. I've been wrong for so many years.
For decades. But again, are we a cult? No. There's a difference between a cult and a religion, too.
We're not?
I want to verify that.
What did I give you $10 for then?
Anyway.
It's okay, he'll buy you a nice pair of sneakers.
That's right, exactly.
What?
I want your new Nikes.
Nikes?
You gotta be black. Yeah. Okay, the Etheria Society. See, I'm sure you've heard of them, haven't you, Barry?
George King.
That's another big one.
Yeah.
So in 1955, you got George King, worshipper of the Cosmic Masters, alien species. George was in communication with a race from Venus. Why was it? And there's so many cults that we're not going to talk about tonight because I just don't have time for all of them. But if you look at the cults from the 40s and 50s, Venus was a big... It's almost like Venus was the only planet out there because all the aliens come from Venus. Really?
Right, exactly. Brightest star, whole 9 yards. It was the epitomeus of all of the place where they believed everything came from.
And I can't remember which cult. It's not even on my list for tonight, but it was a guy that actually met the Venusians in White Sands, New Mexico. You remember that one? I can't remember who that was, though. And that's a cult. That's a cult that's actually still around today. Because they always have a person that takes over and, they carry on. And in some cases, the person carrying on is waiting for a replacement to come down on a spaceship and take over. It never happens.
Right.
So George was in communication with the race from Venus, and they were to use positive energy, religious rituals, to dedicate their lives to the aliens. And they wore red uniforms. So... George King died.
In the middle of the woods.
Right. George King died July 12th of 1997. But his followers still believe a replacement will arrive by flying saucer. And that puzzles me too. Flying saucer is just a very small craft. Why didn't it arrive by cigar?
Because it was formed back in the 50s, and that's what they called UFOs then.
No. He died in 97.
Yeah, I know, but when it was created.
His followers, it still would have been 1997, so why you've got triangles, you've got orbs, you've got cigar shape,
Right,
you've got
you've
boomerang
got
shape.
Yeah.
You know, but they always only go with the flying saucer. That's it.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I mean, it was started in 55.
Yeah.
All the stuff was around it. It was all
Yeah, so if
saucers.
you
That
go
was what
by
that
their
was the
actual
catchphrase.
like book or whatever they
Go
wrote,
out
it
there.
would say flying saucer in there.
I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but it's
Change with the
weird
times.
about how, I mean, when we compare this to modern day, and I know we were talking about that beforehand, but, you know, he was a person that believed in, telepathic communications. He taught, I mean, he was like a Reiki master. He taught yoga,
Right.
spiritual healing, you know, all of these things that were just like we are today. So basically what's happened is these groups have broke away, and there are still people still doing the same type of thing, looking for spiritual enrichment and enlightenment.
Right. Their religious emphasis was on altruism, community service, not bad things, by any means, nature worship, spiritual healing, and physical exercise.
All right, I'm out.
So they were, you know, for lack of a better description, I guess, they thought healthy. They just believed in aliens coming down to bring their leader. So it's not a real large group. They meet in congregations, and they are, for the most part, uncontroversial. But in 2011, membership is into the thousands, with largest membership in the UK, the US, which is mostly California, and New Zealand. So they combine UFO claims with, like you said, Barry, yoga, various world religions, Hindu, Buddhist, and Christianity. Their goal is to prevent worldly destruction by improving cooperation between humanity and various alien masters. The next Messiah will arrive by flying saucer. Space beings, in their belief, have been in contact with governments by a sinister group called, quote, the Silence Group, have been deliberately suppressing the information and using fear and ignorance to control humanity.
Michael's asking, who is this?
This is a theory of society. No, Dennis, so the Shirley MacLaine book, that would actually be the Romphans.
Rothschilds, what?
The Romphans.
Oh.
So the Romphans are actually, and they're not on my list either, but they are local. They're actually in Yelm, Washington. Shirley MacLaine sold the property to J.Z. Knight, who was a Roswell, New Mexico housewife. She was channeled by a being named Rompha. He told her to come here to Washington State. She bought the property from Shirley MacLaine in Yelm, Washington. And they're still in existence today. Look up rompha.org, I believe it is. And they believe there's a draconian race that lives underneath Mount Rainier and has tunnels on Fort Lewis. Look up reptilian Madigan. Or Madigan reptilian. You'll find out about them a little bit. Yeah, being on Fort Lewis, yeah, that was an interesting time. One of my E6s actually lived right outside the Romphan compound and listened to them drumming every night. And they make thousands channeling Rompha.
Interesting.
So there's a bonus group that wasn't even on my list. Yeah. There's so many of them. It's appalling.
Well, there's tons of them out there. They're just
There's
everywhere.
new ones. You know, there's one that we're going to be talking about if we get time. That I didn't even know about until I watched a video about Storm Area 51. And there was a cult that was at Storm Area 51 that is very new. Called... Not Stephen Greer. No, that's another one. That's another
That was a bad idea, by the way.
What? What?
2020 didn't happen until we did that.
So we stormed Area 51, guys.
We'll blame it on Area 51. Alright, let's talk about the Universe People. You ever heard of them?
I haven't heard of the Universe People.
Okay, the Universe People, you've heard of the Ashtar Command. Ashtar Galactic Command. Yeah,
Yes.
that's part of them.
Ooh.
So, well, actually, you probably haven't heard of them so much because they are a Czech and Slovakia group. So they're mostly focused in Czechoslovakia and Slovakia. Formed in the 1990s. They are also known by as the Cosmic People of Light.
Okay.
Or the Cosmic People of Light Power.
Are they the ones that disrupted the airways in London? That was the Ashtar. Was that not? Wasn't that who he said?
The ones that broke into the TV?
Yeah.
Took over the TV? No, that was, oh God, what was his name?
I thought it was Ashtar Command or something like that. He was with the Ashtar Command.
I think there's 2 or 3 different groups that actually use the Ashtar Command name. Honestly. These guys believe alien ships are constantly orbiting the Earth. Honestly, we believe that, so that's not too big of a stretch. When we achieve higher state of consciousness, they will transport us to a new dimension. Reject new technology, money is evil, but they use email. Huh. Can you imagine that? So they were...
Probably only AOL.
Huh?
Probably only AOL.
Probably.
Straight up dial-up.
Oh, okay. So they were founded by Ivo A. Benda. E.T. has been in contact with Benda and other contactees since October of 1997 telepathically. And in 1998 to 2000, the ideology is close to sectarianism, with a central idea of coming cosmic catastrophe and evacuation to another planet. Later, they switched it up. Instead of us being swept away to another planet, we're going to defend against attacks by saurians or lizard people. So there's another case of, they have one belief and they switch it up because it doesn't fit their paradigm, basically. 2007, TV JOJ in Slovakia sent instructions to defend against alien attack to the Slovakian Ministry of Defense. I don't think that was probably received too well. So it's the Ashtar Galactic Command that operates a fleet of ships orbiting the Earth. Not much is known about these guys. That's all I've got on that specific one. Some of them, there's...
That was called the Universal People?
Yeah.
Wow.
Universal People.
What else you got on 'em?
Power.
I just searched. I hadn't heard anything about them. I just searched them and looking at one of the things that it said that they believe that conspiracy theories that they would force the force of evil are supposed to plan compulsory shipping of the populace.
Oh, yeah. I saw that part. Like I said, I kind of picked and chose what we were going to talk about because there's just so much. I mean,
yeah, well, you know what's scary is that as we talk every week and we do the things we do, and we mention all this stuff and everything else, it's all wrapped into all these occults. So I guess we do. I guess we are an occult, are we not?
no, but we don't tell people what to do or what to believe either.
I do.
No, we tell them the research.
We encourage him to go out and don't just believe what we tell you. Research it.
Yeah.
Find we give you a platform and a background to look for stuff, but
for $5.99 a minute, I will do the research for you.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I say $10 a
minute. You must have an apron.
Right, get your apron now. All right, so Tempelhof Gesellschaft, and it's funny because I'm writing all these different cults down as I'm researching them, and I watch this YouTube video. And so it's like this guy's I've got like 10 different videos I'm watching, and this guy's got the top 10 UFO cults. Well, he comes up to Tempelhof Gesellschaft, and he's like, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one. I'm like, right? It's a Tempelhof Gesellschaft. Anybody knows that. Oh, wait, I speak German. Okay, never mind. But looking at it, it's all one word, so yeah, it would be confusing. So these guys are neo-Nazi. They believe Europeans descended from aliens, white people descended on spaceships and created Atlantis, living in utopia until it disappeared.
Okay.
So the Nazis were in touch with aliens and taught them ideology. The older group of Tempelhof was built in the 1980s by a former policeman, Hans Gunther Fröhlich, who also had ties to the far-right network. So,
So they're just extending Nazi belief then?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
And, so they have disbanded. They aren't around anymore. But I walk the fence. You know that. Mm-hmm. I walk the fence on paranormal and Homeland Security. And I look at this kind of a group here. So they've dropped the paranormal side, but they're still a terrorist group.
Yes. Like they have to be.
You have to look at it that way. Because they are a far-right neo-Nazi, white power. Yeah. This is Adamhoff Division under a different name.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
it's basically the Veils. Oh shoot, I can't even talk. The Veil Society, is it not the Vril?
Which one?
Of VRIL.
Oh, Vril.
Yeah, yeah. That's basically their belief system, is it not?
I believe so, because I know I saw Vril on one of them. This might be the younger group of these guys was actually founded in Vienna in the 1990s by Norbert Jürgen Rothofer and Rolf. I can't read my own writing. Edel. I want to say. So they teach a dualistic form of Christianity called Marcionism.
Martian?
Martian. Marcionism. So Jesus Christ was an Aryan, not Jewish. That's typical Nazi. I mean, come on now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They distribute pamphlets claiming Aryans came to Atlantis from the star Aldebaran. I've heard of that somewhere.
Cool.
The energy comes from, there you go. The energy comes from the virile energy of the black sun.
Mm-hmm.
An enormous space fleet is on its way to Earth from Aldebaran to join forces with the Nazi flying saucers in Antarctica.
Huh.
You know, that's funny because I remember at one point back about 5 years ago, there was seeing a movie that all these Nazi spaceships were coming off the moon to meet in, and it never came out. They were advertising it really heavy. It was supposed to be this super movie and everything else, and it's got to be in a can somewhere. But it never came out. I'm wondering, why didn't that come out? Now I know.
Thank you, Dennis. Dennis says, get your best-selling apron here, and he put you a link for your apron.
I've decided for, so from 7 to 10 this morning, we are supposed to be talking about mysteries of the Antarctica. Mm-hmm. We're going to change that to the 30 reasons you need to buy an apron.
Oh, no.
There we go.
Okay.
Wait, we can change these?
That's 10 reasons. That's 10 reasons now.
It's part of the S4 cult uniform.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
We're going to call ourselves the S4.
Asphorians.
Yes, the Asphorians. I like that.
And we're going to live on Cape Hornian.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Well, we are definitely living amongst aliens.
So these flying saucers in Antarctica and Aldebaran are going to establish the Western Imperium. Look for the Das Vril Project, 1992. It's DASVRIL and project with a K.
Wow.
Wow. They are so gangsta.
Right? So, they disbanded, but Rolf Edel started Freundeskreis, which translates to be Circle of Friends.
Freundeskreis?
Which
Really?
is, yep. So, Freundis is friend, Kreis is circle. So, it's friend circle, circle of friends. So, they are active and work for the far-right publishing. All right.
Interesting.
And I know you've heard of this one. The Church of the Subgenius.
Not genius,
Oh, yes.
but subgenius.
Oh. So, the Church of the Subgenius was actually started as a joke.
I was ordained a subgenius minister, I believe.
Seriously? Oh, God. So they're actually started. They're started in 1953. It was a joke religion. It was supposed to be a satire religion. So it was, and follow me, because it's kind of confusing. It was confusing me when I was doing the research. Because I'm like, huh?
You'd make a great cult leader.
It was
Follow me.
Confusing, but follow me anyway.
it was created by Bob Dobbs.
Bob Dobbs.
Bob Dobbs.
Bob Dobbs.
Who's a salesman.
Yeah, but that name actually sounds familiar.
I've met
Yeah,
Bob
he
Dobbs.
does. And
Bob Dobbs
you gotta be a
created
salesman.
the original belief with Church of the Subgenius was Bob Dobbs was a salesman, and he created the church. He was contacted by God. He was told about an alien race called Exists.
Oh, are you kidding me? This is the X-Day group, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The
So
day after 4th of July.
he created Dobbstown.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Dennis went to school with him.
Huh?
He went to school with the Bob Dobbs.
Wrong Bob Dobbs. I'll explain here momentarily. But here's the kicker. Bob Dobbs never existed.
Yes, he did. Dennis went to school with him.
Yeah, never Bob Dobbs. This Bob Dobbs never existed. He was actually created as a fictional character to warn of alien invasion. The actual creator of Church of Subgenius was Ivan Stans, who actually created it in 1970. But his backstory of the church started in the 1950s with Bob Dobbs, who was all fictional.
So Dennis didn't go to school with him?
Well, he probably did go with the Bob Dobbs, but not this one.
Yeah.
This one doesn't exist.
No. Ivan Stans was co-founder. Philo Drummond, a.k.a. Steve Wilcox, was his real name. And, where is it? Because Ivan Stans wasn't the other one's real name either. But they founded the church, a.k.a. Douglas Clearsmith. There we go. Those are the real names that started the church. The belief was avoid mainstream commercialism and belief in absolute truth. Membership numbers are unknown. And belief is compared to Discordianism. So they actually they have, instead of revivals, they have devivals. Everything they do is satire.
Jesus Christ.
But they have thousands of members in this church. Their primary is H.P. Lovecraft's work is a model for the church's approach to Scripture. They're based in Dallas. First distributed their apocalyptic pamphlet in Dallas. And then the Subgenius Foundation moved to Cleveland, Ohio in 1999. In 2009, it was claimed the church had 40,000 members, although debatable. As of 2012, for the cost of $35, you could be ordained.
You paid $35 for that, Barry?
I'm sorry, folks. You can be ordained.
It came in a Cracker Jack box back before they came to Cleveland. I lived in Cleveland for a while, but I left in the 70s. So
okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm ordained as well, but you can get ordained for free from Universal Life Church in Modesto, California. And it is legal.
Legit.
It is legit. In 2017, the church moved back to Glen Rose, Texas. So, the instructions to be a member of, devivals. So, leaders take comical names and give angry rants. That's a devival.
Nice.
They also celebrate several holidays in honor of characters from fiction and popular culture, such as Monty Python and Dracula and Klaatu.
I like Klaatu.
So they shun regular employment and stop working. This encapsulates the church's view that to repent is to slack off, as opposed to working for a living. Subgenius leaders say it is permissible for members to collect public assistance in lieu of maintaining employment.
No wonder they have so many members.
Yeah. And no wonder they're only charging you $35.
They purchase
forever.
They purchase products sold by the church, which its leaders say Dobbs founded to gain wealth. Unlike most religious groups, the church proudly admits it is for profit. Cusack sees the instruction to buy as an ironic parody of the greed is good mentality of the 1980s, and Kirby notes that although the group emphasizes the consumption of popular culture artifacts, this consumption is simultaneously de-emphasized by the processes of remix. Rebel against law and order. Specifically, the church condemns security cameras and encourages computer hacking. I like it already. Rid the world of everyone who did not descend from Yetis.
Oh, I am sold now.
Right? Some genius leaders teach that Dobbs hopes to rid the earth of 90% of humanity, making the earth clear. The group praises drug abuse and abortion as effective methods of culling unneeded individuals.
Okay.
Exploit fear, specifically that of people who are part of the conspiracy. Church leaders teach conspiracy members fear.
You know, I was cool with this up until the mass genocide.
Right?
So,
Right, exactly. Yeah.
damn.
I mean, no wonder they're called sub-geniuses.
I almost joined this, man. I was ready to pay $35.99.
No, we can. No. All right, Nation of Islam. Here we go.
Oh, now, here we go. This is going to get some ears and everything going.
So they actually started, because we talked about these guys earlier tonight. Izzy and I did. They don't follow traditional Islam. Right? So Dennis says we can bless the aprons and double the price.
Yeah.
In S4 I trust. Here you go. There you go. All right. So Nation of Islam founded in 1930, July 4th of 1930, actually, by Wallace Fard Muhammad. It's a North American group. It's not, Middle Eastern Islam. This is a very, very fringe version of Islam. Unknown where he was from, or really where he went. He disappeared. He disappeared in 1934. The movement made...
Wait, the movement started in 1930?
Yep.
And he disappeared in 34?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
He started the movement. He disappeared. And Elijah Muhammad took over.
Oh, okay.
So, follow, because it gets kind of tricky. Because Elijah Muhammad switched everything up.
Oh, okay.
And another one came in, didn't like the way it was going. Malcolm X was actually a part of the Nation of Islam for a while, and switched over to Sunni Islam. So it gets kind of tricky here. So made famous by followers like Malcolm X, who later left, before he was assassinated. It was actually members of the Nation of Islam that assassinated Malcolm X later on.
Huh.
So UFOs are built and piloted by humans. Our planet is 76 trillion years old. That's what they believe.
Oh.
The goals of the Nation of Islam: improve the spiritual, mental, social, and economic conditions of African Americans. E.T.
Phone home.
No, Nation of Islam is actually tracked as a hate group. They promote...
We don't know what they promote.
Anti-LGBT. They
bastards.
promote racism. Black superiority over whites. They are the opposite of the neo-Nazi and the white supremacists.
Oh, okay. All right.
So in 2007, membership claimed between 20 and 50,000. That's a wide gap, I get that. Fard disappeared June of 1934. His successor was Elijah Muhammad. Established temples or mosques as yeah.
Wake
Muhammad,
up.
huh?
Wake up.
Oh no. But so I'm tracking my notes here. So he established temples and mosques. Also, the Muhammad University of Islam, farms, and they established real estate holdings abroad. Malcolm X left when Elijah took over because he didn't get along with Elijah. So Elijah died in 1975. His son, Warith Deen Muhammad, took over and changed the name. He tried to convert to Sunni Muslim. In 1977, Louis Farrakhan, rejected Warith. He rejected what Warith was doing, and he reestablished the Nation of Islam and took over headquarters in Chicago, Illinois. So since 2010, members have studied Dianetics. This is where it gets kind of stupid. Because the Nation of Islam made a contract and a deal with Scientology with Dianetics. I find that hard. I find that weird when you're talking about a black supremacy working with a primarily white Scientology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where that's weird. So Dianetics is an L. Ron Hubbard concept. Hands down, he created that. He created Dianetics.
Oh, yeah.
It is part of Scientology.
Yep.
But since 2010, members of the Nation of Islam have been studying Dianetics, and there's claims that they've trained 1,055 auditors. We'll get to auditors when we talk about Scientology. So the auditors are the ones that run Dianetics, or trying to think how to explain it. The auditors are the ones that use Dianetics on the followers and audit their behavioral, emotional. Am I saying that right, Barry?
I think so. This is the whole part of this is, this gets kind of fringe, when you start really getting into what it is, and especially when they get talking about the mother's wheel,
Right.
And he always talks about planes, so supposedly we're supposed to take planes.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. We're getting to the whole Ezekiel's will thing.
Right, exactly.
That's another crazy.
And this is the whole thing about it.
Huh?
And then, but it's pretty weird because of what these.
I had a crazy time with this because I know Islam quite well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not Islam. I mean, by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
That's why I'm surprised to find Nation of Islam in a UFO cult thing.
Yeah.
But it's very fitting. In 1942, Elijah and many of the other members were arrested for violating the Selective Service Act because they opposed serving in the U.S. military.
Mm-hmm.
And in 46, they were released.
Yep.
And in March of 66, 3 of the Nation of Islam members were charged and arrested with Malcolm X's assassination.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about it is this mother's wheel that they talk about.
Right.
Or mother's plane.
Mother plane.
Small human-built planes.
Mm-hmm.
And the kicker about it is that each of them carry 3 bombs.
Right. And that was to create mountains.
That's correct.
Okay, whoa.
Oh, no. We're getting
You're going to drop a bomb to create a mountain?
No, it's already been done. That's how the mountains were created.
That's how the mountains were created.
Wouldn't that be how a canyon or a crevasse was created?
No, because I made the continents rise up.
Yeah.
Oh, these are big
Yes.
bombs.
Yeah.
Big bada
Yeah,
boom.
big
this
boom.
So,
Okay.
Big
That's
boom.
how I did it.
1995, the Nation of Islam sponsored the Million Man March in D.C. Yes. We've all heard of that. That was a
Yes.
Nation of Islam Million Man March.
Huh.
Yeah.
Foreign branches were established in Ghana, London, Paris, and the Caribbean. Farrakhan attempted to establish relations with the Muslim countries, and then he was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 1991. He had a near-death experience in 2000, which really toned him down.
That sucks.
He had a near-death experience, and he got away from politics. And he changed his focus from the Islamic countries or the Muslim countries, and he established relations with Native Americans, Hispanics, and Asians.
Yeah. He's big in Japan, I think, isn't it?
Say again?
Didn't he do something in Japan? I think that he was really.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, he started again encouraging Dianetics and certified through the Church of Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
Now, beliefs. No other God but Allah. But Allah's an alien. The moon was once part of the Earth, and the Earth is over 76 trillion years old. The entire landmass was called Asia, and this was long before Adam. Ezekiel's wheel is the UFO they claim. Claims Ezekiel's wheel was built in Nippon before it was Japan, now Japan, by some of the original servants.
Well, it's really weird. My mom used to collect Nippon pottery.
Right?
Hmm.
So these wheels were used, and they had smaller wheels that came out, or smaller craft that came out. And yeah, you're catching it like Markham, so Farrakhan, yeah. So there were 3 of the membership of the Church of Islam, Nation of Islam, that did assassinate Malcolm X.
Huh.
So these wheels were used to set up mountains on the earth. The mountains, reason being because the mountains actually balance the earth, and they describe it like the weights on a tire. Imagine the weights on a tire as mountains on the earth. They call Ezekiel's wheel the mother plane. So, yeah. Nation of Islam.
Freaking weirdos.
Oh yeah, I'm going. Ooh.
All right.
If you do decide to touch this one, Michael, wash your hands afterwards.
What's that?
He says, I'm not touching this one.
All right, we have Unarius.
Unarius.
Academy of Science.
Okay, cool.
Ooh. Oh, this one
Markham.
sounds cool.
Markham.
I haven't heard of that one either.
I'm excited
You haven't heard
about
that
the
one?
Unarians.
I don't think so.
So they were founded in Los Angeles, California, headquartered in Cajun, California, founded by Ernest L. Norman and his wife, Ruth E. Norman, in 1954.
Wow.
So they believe humans have souls with recorded data from past lives.
Okay.
Aliens more intelligent than us live in distant galaxies, and their religious leaders are in touch with them. Advances a new interdimensional science of life based upon the fourth dimensional physics principles.
Oh.
I'm sorry, it's freaking almost 5. It's almost 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not tracking this shit. But anyway.
You can't tell. 2003. It's still dark.
Huh?
It's still dark.
I know.
It's weird.
Oh, it's light here though. I can't tell you.
Well, yeah, it's what? Almost 9?
8, 9 there.
So 2003 to 2004.
746.
Okay. You're 2 hours ahead. Unarius centers were in Canada, New Zealand, Nigeria, UK, and all over the US.
Okay.
Now, Unarius is actually an acronym for Universal, Articulate, Interdimensional Understanding of Science.
Okay.
So there are over 100 volumes of books from advanced beings that have been published since 1954. All channeled through Ernest L. Norman.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
All channeled material via Ernest's psychic connection. So Norman died in 1971, and Ruth took over, his wife. And between 72 and 73, membership grew. Because she was pushing it.
Okay.
She went out and did a lot more publicity. She died in 1993. Charles Louis Spiegel, also known as Antares, took over after Ruth's death, but the organization struggled because Charles made a prediction that a space fleet in 1980 never happened. So obviously they lost trust and faith in the guy. So Charles died in 1999, December 22nd. The Unarians believe aliens are human beings, more advanced, who used to live here. Ernest claimed his channelings actually came from Mars and Venus, where the Ascended Masters are.
Imagine that.
Right?
Okay, they got me up until the Venus thing.
Yeah. Here we talk about Venus again, but he throws Mars in there, so it's got to be true.
It's got to.
Unarius argues that they are not a religion, but here we go again, they're a science.
Of course.
Well...
They teach spiritual understanding of high energy physics and reincarnation. They prefer the term spiritual. But you got to understand, due to the fact that they do teach spiritual practice, it fits with the religious criteria. So they are a religion. Unarius also teaches the science of life, incorporating harmonic. Here you go, Barry. Harmonic frequency.
Yeah, here we
Karma.
go.
Reincarnation, past life memory, channeling, elaborate cosmology of spiritual planets.
Okay.
They also teach contact with space brothers and a millenarian prophecy predicting mass landing of starships. No starship fleet emerged, and as of 2001, there is still a small membership and an active council.
And they haven't canceled. That's just amazing.
Right.
And they're using, and that's the thing. We're all on these catchphrases of high frequencies and higher raising frequencies and everything else, which I believe there is something to it, but turn it into a
cult. That's where you lose
cult, right? Yeah, it's a little bit beyond because wow.
So here's where the practicing Unarians hold the following beliefs. Everything is energy. Okay, I got it. Energy is never created or destroyed. It merely changes form. I got it.
Right. Yeah, I can go there.
Okay.
Your energy and the energy that comprises you is never destroyed. It just changes form.
Mm-hmm.
That fits with the soul.
I can fit all this so far.
Right.
Okay.
You, as a form of indestructible energy, possess a soul that has recorded data from past lives.
Okay, I can still understand that.
I can still understand that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All that is currently happening to you has your origins in past lives and past actions.
Okay. They sound pretty legit so far.
I can see that to a degree. To a degree.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, yeah.
So, to progress, one must record more positive action than negative action. They lost me.
No, to be perfectly honest, I
No,
can still
yeah,
understand that to a degree.
Of
Yes.
course you
Yeah.
can.
Very positive, and you go from there. Yeah.
Get positive energy, become a better person, become a better being, become more light, more energy. Yeah.
Negative
okay.
acts must be compensated for by positive acts.
Okay, karma.
Yep.
They already said
exactly.
karma.
Yeah, but that is karma in energy form. Like,
Yeah, but you don't follow that.
no. Otherwise, I'd be screwed.
Various strata exist
Okay.
outside the physical world,
Okay.
where beings of higher and lower nature reside.
Yeah, we can.
All right. So purgatory.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, we got time for
Well, where do
another.
I sign up
Yeah,
for
we
this
got time
group,
for one more.
It
Yeah.
ended
You know
up
what?
pretty good.
I think that out of all
Oh
of the
no,
cults,
Barry's gonna go
That-
take over the council.
that one
it,
actually
right.
makes the most sense to me.
How about we just don't join a cult?
I'm not gonna join a
Just a
cult.
thought.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying
No,
that
she
out
wants
of
to
all of
start
them
the
so
damn
far, oh, I would be an amazing cult leader.
Oh God!
Yeah.
All right, Michael, get ready. We got one more,
I'm ready.
and then are the seekers you speak of, or the Brotherhood of the Seven Rays? If Michael's still awake.
I'm ready.
Brotherhood of the Seven Rays.
Oh,
Yeah.
Michael's still awake.
Nice.
He's only been gone for 7 minutes.
I don't know.
So-
He's falling asleep. So I'll get started because we still have a little bit of time here. This is God's Salvation Army, or God's Salvation Church. I'm sorry, otherwise known as Chen-To.
Okay, I've heard of Chen.
Have you ever heard of Chen-To, Barry?
Yeah.
I have.
All right. So 1992, Hans Ming Chin, North America would be the safe zone. This guy gets silly. He makes so many damn predictions. Why do you set a date and a time? Why? You know it ain't gonna happen.
Well, if it
So-
does.
Exactly.
So he predicted,
Back.
but he predicted North America was going to be the safe zone. The rest of the world's going to die, collapse, unless they get to America.
Hasn't
America.
science pretty much proven the exact opposite of that? Like in calamities, like wouldn't we be the hot zone?
I would think, huh?
Right up there on the ring of fire and all.
he received a message from God. He needed to devote his life to religion. I think he saw dollar signs, honestly. He left Taiwan. And why is it? Why Texas? I've seen Texas in so many different cults, it's not even funny. And we might not talk about them all tonight, but really, Texas is full of cults. He left Taiwan for Garland, Texas. He most settled there, but Chen looked for Messiah in Vancouver, Canada.
Makes freaking sense.
So the Canadian Christ would be a 28-year-old man, 183, and I haven't done the conversion of this, but the Canadian Christ is going to be 183 centimeters tall.
Dancing naked in Stanley Park.
Oh, my throat's already sore from talking for 6 hours, 9 hours, whatever the hell we're up to.
So he's gonna be 6 foot tall.
So he's
what
going to be
else?
183 centimeters tall. He was going to have a beard. And looked like Abraham Lincoln. Oh, I don't. Okay.
Okay, 6 foot tall Abraham Lincoln.
Here's a Canadian Abraham Lincoln. He never found him. So, in September of 1997, Jim went back to Garland. So God was going to show up. Okay, we're good. God was going to show up at 3513 Ridgedale Drive.
He even has an address.
Oh,
He did. He seriously did. In a UFO
oh my gosh.
at 10 a.m.
Oh, God.
March 31st of 1998.
This is very specific. Okay, so I thought
Right?
you were going to say it was like somewhere in North America.
No!
at
Oh, hell
some
no!
point.
This man-
This is super specific.
This
Okay.
man was totally specific, right down to the address. And nothing happened. So he moved to Elkin, New York. And he preached nuclear war
Nuclear war.
in 1999. It didn't happen.
Or did it?
No.
No, it didn't.
Y2K.
So, Chen eventually announced his prophecies were bullshit. He preached
So
it.
he comes out and he's like, okay, so I've been filling your head full of bullshit.
Right.
But you listened,
Yeah.
so it's your
But
fault.
here's the sad part. After this proclamation in May 1998, he moved his following to Michigan. So, okay, Texas ain't gonna believe us because I'm full of shit. We're gonna go to Michigan. Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Hey, everything believes everything in Michigan.
So his doctrines are, and okay, I've got a couple minutes. Blending of elements from Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism, science fiction, he even admits science fiction, Taiwanese folklore.
Okay.
All this is all mixed in.
Yeah.
The Great Tribulation will make the U.S. a safe haven, and only 20% of the world population will survive. And board God's spaceship.
Okay, so this is like a Noah's Ark type of thing, but with humans.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So Jesus is the primary divine being and helps settle Pluto.
Pluto isn't even a planet, man!
He helped settle Pluto, the survivors from the Great Nuclear War that established our solar system.
So he says the solar system revolves around Pluto?
No, the nuclear war that made Pluto. Or that, yeah.
So Pluto's just a chunk of Earth that got blown off?
Yeah.
That actually makes sense.
And Chen is
Not
the
really.
father of Christ.
He's the father of Christ.
Would that make him God? But I don't know. In his belief, he's the father of Christ. And on that note, folks, we have to go to our
Third, we're going to the third hour right away. Let's
Okay.
go for our second break.
second break. There you go. Oh, wow, it's been a long night already. Yeah. And so when we come back, we are going to the Seekers, or the Brotherhood of the Seven Rays.
Woo!
All right, we'll be right back.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back to S4, folks. We are on the third hour of UFO Cults.
The third hour of the third show of the 24-hour marathon.
Cool. So we're only on the third show? So we're going till 1 a.m.?
We're on the third show.
No, this is the third show.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, we are on the third show. What the heck? All right, let's go to 1 a.m.
Oh,
let's do it.
Just stop. Just
Okay.
You can't math right now.
So, what is mystery word number
Oh,
2?
shit. We were supposed to...
Mystery
Oh, no.
word number 2.
It's Armageddon,
Did you
which
say the
totally
mystery
makes
word?
sense for this.
Oh!
The last.
Armageddon.
I'm not going to tell you what the first word was because you were supposed to listen to the other show.
I repeat,
So-
Armageddon.
I'll tell you what it was.
Word
Yes.
number 2.
For $5.99 a minute.
That's right.
Damn
All that
cold.
now.
Buy an apron and we'll give you all 5
Oh.
of those words.
For those that are following, word number 2 is Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Write it down.
Or don't.
Or don't.
It's cool.
Just think about Boo Shammy riding a missile.
All right. So, the Seekers, otherwise known as Brotherhood of the Seven Rays.
7 rakes?
Rays.
Oh.
Oh man, I was like, man, this is my goal. 7 rakes.
yeah.
Let's go.
So they were formed in 1953 by Dorothy Martin. Actually, they were established by Charles Laft in 1953. So Dorothy took over. In East Lansing, Michigan. Here we go, Michigan again.
Oh, yeah.
But they were led by, so they were established by Charles, but they were led by Dorothy Martin from Chicago. They're also known as Sister Thedra. So, these are aliens known as the Guardians from Clarion.
Ooh.
I've heard of Clarion. You heard of?
Yeah, so I.
Yes.
I've heard of Clarion too.
Clarion.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, this is 53. And when she was channeled by these aliens in Clarion, her arm would go numb, and her writing changed.
Oh, honey,
So-
that's a stroke.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, okay, you were stroking out. But, you know, looking back from today's perspective, we call that automatic writing. From aliens. Earth was going to flood in December 21st, and I don't get it. So December 21st for me is Yule. Why do they always pick the winter solstice or Yule for their stupid Armageddon apocalyptic crap? No, it's just a winter solstice.
That's my first day of Christmas shopping.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But, so Earth's gonna flood December 21st, 1954. Imagine that, it never happened. The followers were to get rid of all their metal and prepare for end times. And I don't get that. So why would they get rid of all their metal? Unless they're talking about like gold and silver and shit like that.
Well, even then, wouldn't that be what you'd want to hold on to if it was coming down to an Armageddon type situation?
Would it matter? If you're just walking onto a spaceship, your metal wouldn't matter. It's going to be swept away by the flood.
Well, I guess it would just weigh you down and make you sink. So get rid of your metals.
Maybe. So she believed the UFO would take him December 21st, 1954. When the UFO failed, they changed the date to the 24th. 3 more days.
3 more days. They gave it 3 more
He's
days.
late. The UFO's late, so he'll be in 3 days. Now, what's interesting about this whole thing, because really, it's a very simple story about the cult side of it. But what's significant about this whole thing, because that was a one-time event, and they disbanded.
Right.
But after the failure of the prophecy, many members went home, and they completely dropped the entire concept. But during all of this group was infiltrated by a group of psychologists.
That's awesome. Okay.
And based on what they saw with this group, that's how they came up with the cognitive dissonance theory. Was based on this cult. So when two cognitions contradict each other, it creates psychological discomfort. So in watching this particular cult, they came up with, this group changed the dissonant cognition by changing the date of the UFO. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of lost to me because I'm not a psychologist. Francie would understand all this. But they reduced the importance of the conflict by going home the second time. So, in watching how this cult operated within this one-time prophecy, they came up with the entire cognitive dissonance theory, which I have heard of that. Mm-hmm. So that was the secrets.
Cool.
So now we're going to move on to...
I mean, your cult's bad off when, like, a group of psychologists infiltrates it and it's like, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
So before we... What the hell was that? That is that.
Barry was snoring. I heard it.
Was that Barry?
Oh no, that was the Camaro leaving the driveway.
All right. Let's talk about Unicult.
Is that your Camaro? Like, do you need to call the police?
Yeah.
So Unicult, I'm not sure when exactly.
Unicult?
Yeah, Unicult. All one word.
They even use cult in the title of their cult? Okay.
They believe in joy,
Cool.
love, and peace.
Cool.
So they were actually...
Hallelujah.
They were actually... wait, I forgot the other part. And aliens.
Brought about by violence, right?
Huh? No.
Oh.
They were actually... They went to storm Area 51. And tried to channel the aliens that were at Area 51.
So it's their fault.
Yeah.
Damn, Unicult.
So her name is Unicult Unicron.
Unicult Unicron?
Unicron. That's her name. Unicult Unicron.
Unicorn was taken.
Apparently, or she just didn't know how to spell it.
Yep. Okay.
The crow.
Unicult Unicron. So you may benefit from unicultism if you suffer from hopelessness, an overactive imagination, an inclination towards magic, worry for our future as a species or planet, global sadness, unhealthy habits, an obsession with the abyss, consumer blues, racing thoughts anxiety, other forms of depression, poverty, perpetual health problems, all-consuming cynicism,
Oh, damn.
or curiosity. And so here's what kills me. So I don't, peace, love, and happiness and whatnot. That's great. That's a great, goal for a cult, especially with the word cult in their name. But if I go to Christianity, if I go to church, I could probably get a free Bible. The religious text is usually free.
They only give you half now. It's only the New Testament.
Well, no.
That's all you get.
I can go to the VA hospital.
Bastards.
I can guarantee you I can go to the VA hospital and get an entire Bible if I really want one. These guys...
It's not in the first 4 hours. It's the VA
You have to go on Amazon and pay $33 for their cult book.
Well, they gotta make their uni money somehow.
Okay.
I'm just saying. How much do people pay for a self-help book? I mean, basically, that's kind of what this cult sounds like.
That's kind of what it is, yeah.
It's like, hey, if you're depressed, read about Unicult, man.
Right. And let's go channel a little green and men and women or whatever they are. All right, Scientology.
Oh, shit. Okay,
Let's
do this.
So, we all know pretty much, L. Ron Hubbard was the founder of, and it wasn't Scientology in the beginning. It started out as Dianetics. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what the Hubbard Dianetic Research Foundation. But they filed bankruptcy in 1953, shortly after they formed.
Yeah. Which is why they became a church for the tax breaks.
It was L. Ron Hubbard that started. He then recharacterized it as a science, as a religion, and renamed it Scientology with the E-meter and the practice of auditing. Mm-hmm. So auditors essentially took the E-meter and they were the ones who read your bad thoughts or your bad your personality issues you had, and they charged you a shit ton of money for doing that. Oh, so Scientology claims humans are immortal, spiritual beings, otherwise known as Thetans. Thetan.
Heathens?
Oh, I'm a heathen. They're Thetans.
Oh, yeah.
So Thetans are resident in a physical body. Thetans have past lives and originated from extraterrestrial cultures.
Alrighty.
That's Scientology in a nutshell. Scientology means the science of knowing. January 1951, the New Jersey Board of Medical Examiners charged Dianetics Foundation for teaching medicine without a license. Mm-hmm. In 1970s, the Hubbard's organizations were infiltrated for criminal activities. Germany classifies them as unconstitutional, and France flat out labeled them as a dangerous cult. I think the United States is really the only country that, come on. But I really want to find out how many politicians and how many law enforcement are members of Scientology.
More than you would believe.
Oh, I know. For as much shit as they get away with? Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They gotta be.
There's a crap ton of Scientologists. It's like every one, what was it? I think it was 1 in 7 people are Scientologists.
Seriously?
Something ridiculous.
They gotta
like
be
that.
knocked down. Mm-hmm. Honestly. For all the crap that I read about them in doing this research and the videos I watched. Oh no, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
But they'll be very hard to knock down because they also believe that we have humans have superpowers. So.
Yeah, bring it on. Bring it, bitch. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
I gotta tell you though, have you read their doctrines and stuff on raising children?
No, actually, they want you to take their children to their little boat and let them raise them for you.
Yes. But have
Talk about child trafficking.
Right. Not only that, but have you seen how they are supposed to raise them?
No. I didn't dig that deep.
It is some really interesting stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to stop. And what do you know about that?
What do I know about the child raising for Scientology?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is very much a spare the rod, spoil the child type There are very strict rules on what children are allowed to do, where they're allowed to go, who they're allowed to interact with, how they're allowed to interact with them. I mean, it is a very, very strict upbringing.
Well, and that makes sense with how they treat their adult members. So I can't remember her damn name. So the actress from King of Queens.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you remember her name? Huh?
Melissa McCarthy. No.
Yeah.
No, she came out. She's got away from Scientology. So she was actually one of the children. So they encourage their members to put their children on a separate organization of Scientology, which is a boat. It's a cruise line, basically.
Yeah.
And they raise your kids for you. Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
No.
Any parent that will just give your kids to your religion? No, shame on you. That's nothing but corruption. And talk about child trafficking. Yeah, okay.
Oh, this is, I mean,
Leah Remini.
That's where we're going with
Leah
this.
Remini.
This is going into the complete child trafficking deal.
So
She's got that. She does that show about Scientology.
she got out of it. And she had to pay $300,000 to get the hell out of it. Here's why. So David Miscavige is the current leader and has been the leader of Scientology, the king essentially. After L. Ron Hubbard died, he took over. And that was in 1987. Now what's interesting is while Miscavige was away for a minute, his wife, Shelley Miscavige, did something logistically within the church. She was the queen of Scientology. He came back. Whatever she did pissed him off. She disappeared. She's been missing for 13, I don't know when that, probably longer than 13 years now. No one's seen her in public since 2000, I want to say 7 maybe.
Nobody's
$300,000 to get up, and she hasn't been seen. That's
Say
a
again?
problem.
I see this being like more of those we ain't never gonna see her again type things.
No, nobody in the church has seen her.
Alright.
Because, okay, what was her name again?
I can't remember. Go ahead.
Leah Remini.
Yeah. So, Miss Remini was good friends with Shelley Miscavige. There was Tom Cruise got married at a castle under the auspices of Scientology. The entire Scientology community of Hollywood, whatever, was there. If you weren't there, you were wrong. Shelley Miscavige wasn't there. So Miss Remini,
Remini. I think that's the way it's...
asked, where's Shelley? Because they were friends. She was shunned. They all walked away from her for just asking where Shelley was. Because she had no idea. Yeah. And she got punished. So she had to pay $300,000, and she was actually summoned to the Scientology headquarters in, I think, Clearwater, Florida. And she got there, and they basically condemned her and said, you need to do the E-meter, and we need to find out why you sinned, why you're evil. And she had to pay $300,000. She wound up paying $300,000 for all these different processes. And finally, she left. She got out, and she got threatened. She gets death threats and threats for leaving the damn church. So David Cavish, I'm butchering his name, I know. I'm jumping out of my notes just because, this whole thing pissed me off. So pretty bad. This church, this church has their own prison.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
It's called the Hole. And David Cavish, the king of Scientology, the leader, put his own dad in this prison for 2 years. He had to break out and escape.
Mm-hmm.
Why in the living hell? And how, and I know you're going to say the Catholic Church does it all the time, but bullshit. That is illegal abduction. That's illegal imprisonment, for one. And so Izzy and I were talking about this actually on the way to the show, and her only argument with it would be is if they signed a contract in the church that if they violate such and such, the church can put you in their little prison.
Not entirely true too, because so here's something that most people don't understand about these holes, these prisons. Okay, they would be more of a mental institution than they would be a prison. Okay, and there are psychologists on hand, and they do have it set up to where it's an involuntary psychological reasoning for you being there.
That's only to justify it.
It is only to justify
Right.
it, and it's only to make it just legal enough that it's okay.
But I will say, not everyone has had to endure that.
Not everyone has.
Katie Holmes never went in.
But
She
is
was
there
confined to
not
her home.
When you're in the hole, is there not a retraining process that is brainwashed into your head?
No, according to her dad, to David's dad, who was in prison because he went against the church. He was thrown into and they actually took a camera in there and showed it. They are actual little tiny cells, and they're fed slop.
Mm-hmm.
He actually had to, and I was so pissed off, I stopped paying attention to the video. It was a 60 Minutes episode, actually, from Australia. Like, okay, that makes complete sense. Because 60 Minutes in America, I couldn't see doing a Scientology episode. This was 60 Minutes Australia that did it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were attacked for doing it. I mean, they were outside one of the compounds, and this bitch came out and said, "Oh, how dare you? Have you called the Scientology PR people? That's who you need to talk to." Blah, 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 blah. Oh, my God. You know what? I'd punch you. I would probably choke slam you, bitch. You come out and talk to me? Oh, hell no. So here is a current list of all the different people that are members of the Scientology Church. Kirstie Alley.
Yeah.
Makes sense. She was crazy before she started Scientology, though.
Ann Archer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emily Armstrong. Jennifer Aspen.
Mm-hmm.
James Barber. Oh, some of these names are going to shock you. Lynn Bartleson. Catherine Bell. David Campbell, composer. Nancy Cartwright.
Oh, jeez.
Kate Ceberano, actress and musician. A third generation. So, in all fairness, and I will clarify this, some of these, as in the case of, what's her face? The one from King of Queens, was actually, her parents were Scientologists, and she was one of the children that was put on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
She had to fight her way out when she got old enough. She stayed in the church until she got tired of it. And once, obviously, Shelley Cavich was abducted and had to fight her way out. So I'm sure in these cases, some of these...
When you're raised in a specific way and
You're
taught
brainwashed.
only this from the time of birth,
Mhm.
you're not going to know the different side of the world until you live in it.
Absolutely. That's why I say they're brainwashed. And until, like her, she saw the corruption and the bullshit, and she got out. Erica Christensen, Tom Constantine, Chick Corea, Tom Cruise. Now we all knew that one. Sky Dayton, founder of Earthlink. Huh. Doug Doring, ex-owner of Neopets. Cheney Shapiro, owner of Sherwood Properties. Richard Judd Shapiro, contractor and owner of Resourceful Construction. Jason Doring, raised Scientologist. Robert Duggan, billionaire investor and CEO. Bodie Elfman, Jenna Elfman, Richard Elfman, Stacy Francis. It just, I don't know. I've never looked at Scientology until, yesterday.
Yeah, looking at it, it's, oof.
Dougie Fresh, Gary Imhoff, Mark Isham, Riley Keough, Vivian Kubrick, Juliette Lewis, Alana Masterson, Christopher Masterson, Danny Masterson, Jim Meskimen, Julia Maginnis, opera singer, Sophia Milos, Elizabeth Moss, Floyd Mutrux, Haywood Nelson, Marisol Nichols, Judy Norton Taylor, Michael Pena, Bijou Phillips, David Pomerantz, Laura Prepon, Priscilla Presley, I ain't surprised by that one, Lee Purcell, Giovanni Ribisi, Marissa Ribisi, Michael Roberts, Ruddy Rodriguez, Billy Sheehan, Michelle Stafford, Ethan Stupley, this would shock me, John Travolta, and Greta Van Susterson, Joy Villa, and Edgar Winter.
Wow.
And I'm not going to go into the former members because they're former members. They got out.
Yeah.
There's just a few that I kind of always expected to be in there and aren't.
Huh?
There's a few that I always expected to be in there that aren't.
Well, and you don't know.
Mel Gibson, I really expected him
Who?
in there. Mel Gibson.
The
guy went nuts.
Yeah, but he is a hardcore, not Scientologist.
But that's what makes me think he should be in there.
Okay.
Because he was hardcore Catholic at one point, and then he made the movie about the Catholics, and all of a sudden, no, I hate Catholics. And then he was hardcore Jewish, and he made a movie about Jewish people, and then all of a sudden, no, I hate Jewish people.
I don't see
It's
any
time for him to
Scientology
join.
movies coming out. Okay.
in 2012, these guys had $1.7 billion in assets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I mean, just think of that.
And they make $200 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
They have
Let
an
them pay our
office,
national debt off.
right? They have an Office of Special Affairs, which targets individuals who talk bad about them for character assassination.
The least they could do is buy an apron.
Right?
God damn it.
No, but we'll talk about it.
Yes.
Oh, what are they gonna get sue me for? Jesus.
Oh, again, bring a bitch.
They can put me in a little cell and give me some slop.
Oh, no. No. Yeah, put me in a little cell. See what happens.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
My curiosity is still, who pulls their security? Is it some little deacon prick that thinks he knows how to use a gun? Or is it a professional organization like, say, Blackwater? Which,
right.
we know Blackwater doesn't exist anymore. It's under a different name, and it's in China. But it's still run by Eric Knight. Or Eric Prince. There we go.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder if they've got, some kind of control on Eric Prince and they've got his organization running security. Or is it local law enforcement who's a member of the church.
Okay, but
That's always a possibility, too.
The other thing that you got to understand is that's the list of people that they let you know are Scientologists and are part of Scientology.
Right.
That is here's our A list of people that are Scientology.
And they're not going to list politicians.
They are not going to list specific people because they don't need you to know that. They don't need you to know that they're part of that. And that's part of the whole cover-up crap with all that, is that we also have... Because if you look at their amount of members versus their amount of known members, there's
would be nothing.
A ridiculous amount of discrepancy in those two numbers.
Right.
And
Oh, absolutely.
So, come on. You know you have people that you don't want us knowing are here.
Mm-hmm. And you know, again, they're not going to sit there and tell you what politicians are in it.
Nope, they're not going to do that. They're
not
going to tell you who's on who's on the list of all this other stuff that's going down in California for all these child cases and everything else. And I hate to say that, but I would assume that would be a large amount of them also.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But you know, you gotta look at it just like every other cult, every other religion, every other, you know, and you gotta think that there's a privacy aspect of it too. Okay? And there would be. Because not everybody knows what religion I am. I don't go around telling everybody what religion I am.
Those are the ones that came out and said,
exactly.
I'm a proud member of Scientology.
So,
yeah.
It's not one of those things that's constitutionally, I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to tell you anything about me, anything about my religion, anything about...
Right.
So, if there wants to be people that are into that instead of Catholicism or Christianity or Muslim or any of this, then more power to you. But
right, but what
think about it. Think about it first. You know.
You know, it's kind of like going. What happens is that, you know, they make it sound. You know, when you look at it on every other website, people who are looking for an alternative or something else where they could get a group and they see all the celebrities, everything else in it, and celebrities have a draw towards people, so they're all going to look at it and go, "Oh, they're doing it, so why shouldn't I be doing it?" And it, you know, they make it sound so rosy. You know, you go to certain places on the internet and it's like, oh, you know, we believe in a blend of science and spirituality and belief in the immortal spirit and proving the spirit here on earth. And, oh, by the way, you know, we don't dwell in heaven or hell or the afterlife, instead focusing on the spirit. We want to build the spirit up. So it makes it sound real gushy and gooey, and everybody says, oh, yes, I want to build my spirit up. And then you get into there and it goes haywire, you know. It's the pull and the draw that gets you there. After that, then you get into the real stuff.
Not only that, but you also see people that make a crap ton of money.
Yep.
You go, hey, man, this guy made $1 million last year. This guy made $2 billion last year. What do they all have in common? They're all Scientologists. Something about this religion is making it so people can be rich. Okay?
Yeah.
For specific minds, that's immediately where they go to, is the fact that if I become part of this, I can get in with the in crowd, and I can become rich.
Mm-hmm. Never mind those ones that are millionaires and billionaires are actually movie stars and already had millions to begin with.
Yes.
And they bought into the hierarchy. The little lowly Joe Blow member is the one paying into it, and he ain't getting shit.
No, but it makes it sound like if you become part of this, then you could be the next action hero. You could become this because you'll have all of these friends in high places, and you'll know all of these people because there's all of these get-togethers that only you can do if you are part of this group.
The minute they got that hook in your lip, you're stuck.
Yeah, because that's when you sign the paper that you don't realize what you're actually signing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why you should never, ever sign any paper unless you thoroughly read through it first. And if you don't know what half of it says, go see a lawyer.
It's just amazing. And what's everyone nowadays is we're going towards the UFO field, and if we see it more and more, you see it in the news. Yes, there are UFOs. Yes, there this and this, and what are they saying? There is a belief in ufology in Scientology,
right?
And that draws in more people. Well, I believe in UFOs, so I should be in Scientology.
Oh, and they hate being called a cult. They're one of them too. But other than Unicult, who has cult in their name. I didn't see. I wouldn't be called a cult by any of them. So but no, they get offended and we're our religion, so you can't talk shit about us. Oh yeah, I can. You're a cult. You're not a religion.
No. If you look at the reason that they became a religion, the original reason for them becoming the religion was so that they had the tax breaks from being a religious organization.
Not just that, but L. Ron Hubbard made it a religion so that he could be the master consultant over the it wasn't just over the money. It had to do with his e-device that he created, the e-meter. Mm-hmm. So, April 1953, Hubbard wrote a letter making Scientology a religion as it would make more money. You're absolutely right. But in January 4th of 1963, the FDA raided the church offices, seizing hundreds of e-meters as illegal medical devices. Mm-hmm. They lost, but the church was forced to label the e-meter as a religious artifact and not a medical device. From that point, L. Ron went into hiding, 1972. Many leaders in the church were convicted of obstructing justice, burglary of government offices, and theft of documents. Hubbard died January of 1986. But I'm trying to find where my notes. He wanted to be the ultimate authority on the e-meter, or on psychology in general, because Dianetics is the counseling technique known as auditing, which an auditor assists a subject in conscious recall of traumatic events in an individual's past. So shortly after the concept of Dianetics, Hubbard introduced the concept of the thetan, or the soul. Mm-hmm. With much controversy between the medical and the psych communities against Dianetics, Hubbard established the Scientology as a religion to make himself the authority. That's what it was. In 1951, he established the the electropsycho. What is it? Electropsychometer, or e-meter, and that's what was being used as the auditing tool.
Mm-hmm. I am all for freedom for anyone to be whoever they want to be and do whatever they want to do, because that's what it's all about, is being you and being the best you can be. But I caution people to make sure that you realize what you're signing up for.
Absolutely.
Before you actually do it.
So
it's just terrible. I mean, golly. And don't they have something to do with Venus? Obviously, I think they're also one of these cults that also talk about Venus and going to Venus and being coming back, and you're re-implanted, if you will. Totally stripped of everything that you've ever known, and then re-implanted.
Yeah.
Cosmic rebirth.
So
Yeah.
as we
Hallelujah.
cover the last few minutes of the show, what you need to take away from this is anytime you jump into or hear about a supposed religion, you need to look at the leader. You need to identify, is it, the danger level? Is it a religion? Are you a free will, or do you have to go by their dogma and their dogma only? And don't ever sign a damn document from a church, ever.
Right.
Hey!
Unless it's for the Church of S4.
I am not.
And it's to receive your apron.
Oh no!
I would not say don't ever sign a religious document from a church.
Okay, a contract from a religion? No. There's no reason for a religion to have a contract.
I would have to agree to disagree on that.
Go ahead.
one,
Okay,
but-
so give me an example of why you would ever need a contract from a religion.
Cole.
Confirmation.
Okay, that's Catholicism.
That's
but
a religion.
That is a religion, and it is a contract.
It's a contract from a religion.
But
that I had to sign.
here's the deal:
I didn't
Catholicism
have to,
is
but I
a
did.
valid religion.
Huh?
Yes, but
Catholicism is a valid
to
religion.
who? Just like Scientology for a lot of people is a valid religion.
Religion. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that tell me that my religion is not valid.
It's been around a lot longer than Scientology.
Doesn't matter how long it's been around,
Well,
whether it depends on people's beliefs.
You also have to sign a doctrine to be in the Mormon religion. You also have to sign a doctrine
Okay, so the
to
Mormon
be
religion is debatable.
in the Jehovah's Witness religion. You also have to sign a doctrine to be of a 7-day Advent. So
Okay.
there are
Yeah.
all kinds of religions
Take
around
it
the
to
world.
a lawyer and
that
have
you
him
would have
check
to.
it out. Make sure there's nothing corrupt about it. There you go.
I will
You're
sign
like
a document
10 when
that
you
will give
are
me the keys
convert.
to the Vatican. That's all I want.
I think I was 12.
And that works too.
I think I was 12 when I was convert.
I would put it
What
this
12-year-old
way.
has a lawyer?
I would say that what I would take away from this would be the same thing that I take away from pretty much every show, which is do your own research.
Yeah.
Do your own research. Check, and triple check everything. that
And
you
anyone
do.
that tells you to commit suicide, you best run away from it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
probably not the greatest idea, guys.
Oh.
But
Look
Because if
inside
it is the Lord, He'll
yourself
just
and-
take you out Himself.
Huh?
If it is the Lord, He'll just take you out Himself.
Or an alien.
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
If He puts an
Well,
apple in your mouth, try and run.
Oh.
Believe in yourself and not other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have coming up
What do we got next? What do we got
Paranormal
next?
Mysteries of the Antarctic.
No.
Not the Atlantic.
No. Yeah, Antarctica. I'm so
Antarctica.
excited. I'm so excited about Antarctica. I know so many things about Nazis. Okay, so
My friends live there.
I know that comes
Gotta go
across
to Argentina first.
that comes across terrible, but I have a weird fascination with Nazis. I do. And not like I believe in anything that they believe in or any of that, but
This is where she signed that
Something-
contract.
Right?
something about the Nazis has always intrigued me. I think it's just the fact that you could have got a group so willing to do so many horrible things to so many different people because of one man that most of them never even met.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really shows you what the power of words can do.
Dead air, guys.
Oh, man.
She just blew my mind there. It's not only the words, it's the way that he had his whole set up with frequencies, everything else, because he was slowing down certain things and the way he spoke to people. And again, he was a charismatic leader. I mean, the guy knew how. He had a silver tongue, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's charisma and it's smooth talk.
Yep. And people just ate it up.
When you can make a whole country of people relinquish their rights, relinquish their arms, relinquish everything, and get them to go into internment camps and all of these other things just by a speech, just by getting up in front of people and throwing out a speech, and you can make them change that much about themselves and their lives. It's a ridiculous concept to me that one man talking could have done that to so many people.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2020.
Right, welcome to 2020.
Right, and you know the thing about him that gets me too is people still to this day, and it's been how many years, still hang on those words, still read those words, and still believe in what he was trying to teach. Like, it's
it goes on today.
It's ridiculous, right?
I mean, it does go on today. It has always been.
You're talking about how many years ago, and it's still going on today.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount of hate that he built in a whole population of people.
All right, guys. Well, here's the deal. We will be back with our fourth show at 7 a.m. So in 10 minutes, we will be back. Don't forget to refresh your page at 7 a.m. in order to get on with us again. We will talk about the art contest when we start the next show. I want to give everyone here a bit of a break before we start the next one. So we got 10 minutes, so here you go. Here is the outro. We will be back at 7 a.m.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.